Okay, guys, this is my redemption video. As well we know, when I showed you how to roll pie crust, my dough was too firm and I had a hard time rolling it out. And because of time constraints, I didn't have the time to fix the dough the way I wanted to and make a pretty pie. So I used the pie that we rolled out in between the sheets of parchment paper and put into the pie pan, and I left that just as is. I took away the pie crust from the pan that broke as I moved it on in there, and I added more water to it, and I rolled it out, and so I've got a nice flat pie base there. I used a donut cutter with a hole inside it to take off the round circle, and then I just put the little donut hole back in there so it'd look pretty. And then I rolled out the rest of the dough and I created the leaves, the bark, and the stems here, the stems and the leaves. The stems are created by cutting a narrow strip of dough, and then you just sort of make diagonal slashes in it and you fold them up one over the other. They're not folded on the same side, they fold into the center over each other so they overlap. And then I patted them down and squished them out with my fingers a little bit to give them a little more rustic texture. You can use the same technique and get it to look like a perfect braid, but you do have to use a ruler and make sure that all of the slices and cuts are the same way. I have some nice little cookie cutters here. They're actually pie crust cutters. They're specifically designed for that. So I put the indent of the leaf in there, and then I'm going to hit this button, and it's going to push out a little bit, and it's going to make the leaves that's there. And as I'm looking at this pie, I see that I've got a set of leaves that I don't really particularly like in terms of perfection. So I'm going to lift them up and move them over just a tiny little bit, so that looks really, really pretty, because, you know, details matter when you're doing something like this. And then I want the leaves to look like they're coming out of the bark there. So they're going to go a little bit circular like that. I'm going to move this one up. And you'll notice I'm just using a butter knife to lay them in there just a little bit prettier, just a little bit nicer, so they look like they're growing out of the trees there. And I'm going to do that again. Oh. And I don't know if you saw that, because my computer decided that this would be a good time to take a nap, but I'm just lifting up these stem leaves here and putting them so it looks like they're growing out of the bark that I've got here, which otherwise, you know, you can use that technique to make a braid. And now we have it all lined up. We have a nice, pretty, picture-perfect pie. I have redeemed myself, so for those of you who told me my last video was cringeworthy, if you could please undo those comments, that would be nice. Love you guys. Bye.